No,
But why
no
not?
enthusiasm.
Oh no, you must have enthusiasm.
No exhaustion. That is what I have.
Well, that's no fun.
I had enthusiasm 2 hours ago.
I'm sorry. I had a lot of enthusiasm 2 hours ago too. I lost a fair bit of it.
So you find a new job?
Nope. Well, I have a number of different options, but I've
Uh
not
huh.
committed to any of them yet.
Okay.
So I would really like to work at um let's see. I have a
The gun place, the ammo place.
well, I'd like to do that, but that's probably not going to happen just because they aren't responding to me. There's another place around here that I'm trying to get into, and it is a farming supply center, and I would like to learn how to farm because that just sounds like the fun. So that sounds like a great place to try and get into
I
them.
disagree
What's you disagree? What?
on your idea of fun.
You know, um, that's fair, but I am looking, you know, to get a larger. So I'm looking to buy some land, put a house on it, and start farming. Just I like the idea of self sufficiency. Only thing is I don't know at all how to do that. So I figure working someplace where that is the entire focus of the place would be a positive step in that regard.
Hmm.
That's it. Okay, as it has to be.
Or
Also, that would probably also help me, remain physically active. So that would be a good thing as well, because I need to be
yeah.
physically active. Because I'm apparently not physically active enough when I look at my stomach. No,
Hmm. I feel you.
you don't have to feel me. You can feel you.
That's true.
True, true, true. Although I did have an odd conversation with, um, I was going to try and delineate whether it was Brokewood or Ducky, but those are usually kind of one and the same sort of situation. When you talk to one, you talk to the other, sort of thing. And they were commenting on your pectoral muscles.
Yes.
Yes, apparently you have them.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that.
We did, but I don't think that was actually like really. I'm still, I guess, processing it through to the point where I think it should be mentioned again. So
I'm glad my pecs are a topic on the agenda.
not on the agenda. They just kind of worked their way in. Um,
You brought them up.
a bad joke in there somewhere. I'm gonna try not to make it. Um. So how's the week, Masters?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It got better.
All right. Care to elucidate?
Um, I had a panic attack on Monday for absolutely no reason.
Those are fun.
Um, the uh, I put in an offer on a house on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and then God told me to pull it back on Monday, so I did that. And then He told me to set up an appointment to go see another house with Ducky on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And the lady that owns that house decided that she was going to accept the first offer that came in, no matter what it was. So we didn't even get to go look at the house.
Tragic.
Um, so yeah, um, we did get to hang out on Tuesday, so that was nice.
Good.
And then storms came through on Thursday, yesterday, uh, and so uh, because they were feared for my life, and their mother was feared for my life, them being Ducky and Broadbutt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I took my laptop and went and worked from their apartment
Oh,
uh,
because of all the
Thursday, and
tornadoes and stuff.
yeah, and then we went to their parents' house in case it got bad. And then Ducky and I went on an adventure today.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to Knoxville, Tennessee, and went to a history museum. Um, and then went and ate at a restaurant, a new restaurant that we found that apparently has 77 locations across the U.S. in 16 different states.
What's a restaurant?
It's called Mimi's
Never heard of it.
Cafe.
Never heard of it.
Me either. But the food was delicious.
Good.
And then we hit all kinds of traffic on the way back home. It took us a little over 3 hours to get there. It took us almost 5 hours to get home.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the reason I was going to be late.
Mm.
And then you were obscenely late.
You know, yes.
But I have not watched Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh. This could be a short episode then, which is probably good.
No.
No?
Probably won't be a short episode.
Oh?
Because of pictures that I took for you.
You came loaded for bear. I'm not prepared.
So the plan here is for me to drop these pictures in World's Worst Podcast.
Uh-huh.
And
I'll react to them?
Let you ramble for 3 hours.
Okay.
I'm gonna do them one at a time.
Oh, by the way, did Sass send you the Google Duck Season 1?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's that.
It's still loading. Oh, there we go. Ooh. It's a Kentucky long rifle.
They had some really nice guns.
Let's see. This is a proper Kentucky long rifle. Got the wooden ramrod. Ooh, nice filigree on this receiver. People don't have it. Is that a brown Bess? Might be a brown Bess. I think that is a brown Bess. Those are rare.
This one, Ducky, I think, has a better picture of the story for this one that I just posted.
Looks like Davy Crockett's. It is Davy Crockett's. Man, I'm good. I mean, it is one of the most iconic guns in American history, but still.
I didn't know it.
You did? Wow.
If it hadn't been for that plaque.
That is a gorgeous, gorgeous gun. I mean, it is just wonderfully preserved. Yeah, I mean, are these all gun pictures?
Yes, they are.
Ooh, a Sharps Buffalo rifle.
And the last one's my favorite. Last two, technically, because it's the same gun. I just got a close-up.
Two different angles. Ooh, Henry rifle. Golden Boy. All right, so I've kind of already reacted here to your Kentucky Long Rifle and your Brown Bess, and I'm really enjoying this Davy Crockett gun. Man, just the striations on the walnut. Oh, it's just beautiful. Staining is gorgeous. The brass inlays. You'll notice actually on the stock there, that trap door opens up. It's the same one on the Brown Bess, the second one that you sent, and that is for obviously storage of powder and cartridges. Well, not cartridges because it's a couple decades before cartridges came around, but that's for storage of powder and for projectiles, all kinds of fun stuff. Just so that you don't have to have a separate carry pouch. Although most people did still carry a second carry pouch because it's more handy than actually digging into your stock of your gun. Let me pull this down for a second. Not that loading in the field a muzzleloader in the first place is easy or handy in any regard, but just for the heck of it. I can't believe I just picked that up by sight, and I'm like, oh, it looks like Davy Crockett's gun. It's because it is. Oh.
This is already going exactly as planned.
Davy Crockett's amazing. Have you ever seen any of the Davy Crockett movies?
Yeah, I've seen the old one.
The one with
Black and white.
The one with John Wayne?
Yeah.
Alamo. There's a more recent one. I think it's also called The Alamo. I forget who plays Dave. Actually, I know exactly who plays Davy Crockett. What's his name? No, not Dustin Hoffman. Why would I think of Dustin Hoffman? The most American actor ever. He played Robin Hood. He played Superman's dad recently. It's gonna bug the crap out of me. Although him playing Robin Hood spawned a whole movie of jokes. Played in Silverado. What is this guy's name? Give me the IMDb. Kevin Costner. Holy crap. Can't remember his name for the life of me. But Kevin Costner does a great Davy Crockett. And it's probably the most accurate depiction of the Alamo that's been on screen so far. But yeah, just Davy Crockett's amazing. One of my favorite American frontiersmen. Actually, I just realized this. If you look on that fourth picture you have, the one that actually has the plaque for Betsy, and you look at Davy Crockett's picture right there,
yeah,
I have my sideburns almost exactly the same as he has his, and I just now realized that. That's kind of amazing. May not be amazing to you, but I'm happy about it.
Loophole.
I believe. I love that quote. I'll leave this rule for others when I'm dead. Always be sure you're right. Then go ahead. That's great. Well, now I want to start reading Davy Crockett biographies. He just seems like a very interesting fellow to learn more about. Let's see. This might be another. No, I don't think this is a Brown Bess. The Brown Besses were known for having kind of a less tapered fore end. What is this? I mean, it's Kentucky, maybe just another Kentucky long rifle. That fifth picture down. A little.
I should have gotten pictures of the descriptions of them for you.
Yeah, would have been helpful. Although it's kind of nice, it's kind of fun to just try and pick things out. Nice little flintlock pistol here, not particularly. See if I can make out any of the markings on the medallion in the stock here. Not really. Oh, actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's a DT. So that could be a Detroit-made flintlock. That'd be kind of cool. Without seeing it fully, I wouldn't know. But Sharp's Buffalo rifle, and that's a Schofield 36 caliber. pistol underneath it. Schofields are very aesthetic. I love Schofields. Oh, by the way, I love your shirt here. Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Something the galaxy.
Rule the galaxy.
Rule the galaxy. I was about to do a Darth Vader quote, and I realized I can't do a Darth Vader voice, so I gave up.
Yeah, I don't know why they use such reflective glass in all these displays.
Oh yeah. Schofields are really, really, really beautiful. The angle of their grip and everything on them is just very iconic. Also, they were one of the last adopters of a trigger guard, because that one you'll notice in the picture there, the cavalry model, that one doesn't have a trigger guard on it. It's just kind of open to the elements. Of course, in a single action pistol, you don't have to worry too much about having a trigger guard, because until you cock the hammer, it ain't doing nothing. But they were one of the first break action pistols out there, so it's really cool. There's actually, though, I've been at 2 gun shops today. So the first gun shop I was in, they actually had a couple of modern updated Schofield model pistols there, and I was like, oh, I would like one of those. I didn't buy one, but the next gun shop I went to, I almost bought a Heritage Barkeep, which is a 22 caliber pistol, but they're really cool. Heritage Barkeep. They're super cheap, but they are just gorgeous little guns. Copy image. Drop this down here. Very Western styling. Very tiny, short little barrel. Like it's a 2.5 inch barrel on there, but oh, they're so cool. I want one. And you can get them. Of course, the marketing on them is just amazing. Like, look at this guy. I want to be this guy. He seems like he is having a good day, even though he's pulling out a gun at the guard table. That's usually a bad time. But I still.
That actually looks like Brian Foster, from Critical Role. Like, it looks like a shot that they may have taken for when he DM'd a Western game.
Well, that is a real gun, and that is really from the marketing for this, so I don't think it's him, but it'd be.
I don't either, but that's what it looks like.
You can even get one with like a bird's head grip on it, which is just. Or you can actually you buy the gun and then you can buy a bird's head grips for it, which would actually make this not a terrible carry piece. That would be viable, because they're already really, really small, and if you can make the grip on it just a little bit smaller, it would disappear in whatever you wore it in. So, plus it's still aesthetic as all get out. Just make sure that whatever you are going to get yourself into, you can settle it in 6 shots or less, because I understand that with these, ejecting the spent casings is not really a thing that you can do in a hurry at all. Like, you have to have secondary implements to reach through the front end of the cylinder to knock them out the back end, because there is no ejector plate, and there is no ejector rod. So, life is fun. And Heritage Barkeeps are cool, and like I said, you can get these for less than $200. And I was in the second gun store I was in today. They had these, and I'm like, oh man! And I even want the cheap one. You can get the expensive one. There's two variations on it. So, and they had both of them. And okay, so I'm gonna post these in here. You tell me which one you think is more expensive, because it really is just down to aesthetics. Is the one on the left more expensive, or is the one on the right more expensive? Well, why is that so small? This should be a gigantic picture. Wow, it's so tiny. Make any sense? Let's try this one. Okay, so which of these two? The one on the left. Okay, so the second picture would be the one on the right or the one on the left. Which do you think is more expensive? The wood grip with the texturing, or the other one with the one with the brass, or just the straight gunmetal?
I'm gonna go with the one on the left.
You think that one's more expensive?
Yeah.
You are correct. Why do you think that one's more? Why would you assume that one to be more expensive?
Because it looks like that might be marble that the handle is made out of.
I don't think it is. I could be wrong. I don't think it is. But I mean, I like the brass look of the other one.
Yeah, that was the other thing. The brass looks unfinished, whereas the other one is finished.
The brass is actually has a very nice finish. If you go up to the first picture I posted, you actually see like there's a bluing.
I'm not saying it doesn't have a nice finish.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it looks bare.
I mean,
whereas they took the time to finish the other one. I understand it's an aesthetic. I'm just saying that actually painting the thing versus polishing the metal.
They're not painted. Neither of them is painted. That's all bare metal.
Oh.
Yeah, that you don't really. You can paint guns, but it's generally not the best idea. Saying you can.
That's just my thought process.
Yeah. Like, usually if you paint a gun, it's to put camouflage on it, or there's something called Cerakote. That's another big thing. But what's really cool is you can actually trade out the cylinders on these so that rather than fire a 22 long rifle, they'll fire a 22 Magnum, which I think is preferable, especially if you're going to carry it. Because, again, you have 6 shots. Whatever you start, you better settle in 6 shots or less. And a 22, I'm not saying, it's impossible, but like 22 long rifle may not be the most powerful thing on the planet in terms of putting it into bad situations. Yeah. That's sending me gun pictures, I'm sure. Nope. More ducks. I can't. Wow, I need to have a talk with him because that's over the line. I hope he didn't. I hope he didn't send that to you. Oh man. Oh. Okay.
Oh.
So I'm looking at this one you got. I'm looking back at the stuff that you sent over. I'm at the one with the cap and ball rifle from Civil War era. This one appears to be definitely Confederate.
Well, I was at the East Tennessee Museum, so yeah.
Bell jacket worn by Private John M. House. Something rather interruption by the glass there. University student John House enlisted in the Knoxville Grays, Company E, 19th Tennessee Infantry, Confederate States of America. And very nice.
Wow, that's a good picture.
What?
If you can read that, that's a good picture.
I just zoomed in. It's fine. I things that I want to add to my list of things to acquire. I would like to get some black powder rifles. Well, get a black powder rifle, start with, and a black powder pistol. Interestingly, did you know this is just weird legal things? Did you know that black powder firearms are not considered firearms in the United States?
That is interesting.
There's a rule that says that unless, okay, how do I phrase this? The Bureau for the control or whatever it is of alcohol to the ATF. The ATF classifies a automatic weapon as any weapon that you can pull the trigger one time and more than one bullet is fired. And there is no other classification to a machine gun other than that. So there's the guy on YouTube. His name is Matt. He does this. He has a channel called Demolition Ranch. It is the biggest gun channel on YouTube that I'm aware of, which I'm aware of most of them by this point. So if there's another one that's bigger than him and I'm not aware of it, I would be shocked. But he has a channel called Demolition Ranch, and I think it was about a year ago, he tried to set up this Rube Goldberg machine where he would fire a single round and it would set off consecutive guns down the line. I think he had like 9 or 10 of them that he was trying to set off with a single shot. However, according to the ATF, that would have constituted a machine gun firearm, despite the fact that they were all separate pistols. So he went out and bought himself a bunch of black powder pistols, which the ATF does not classify as a firearm, and he pulled off the shot. Which is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. But, you know, they're going to be stupid, and we'll be stupid with them, I guess. I mean, not to say that it's intelligent to try and shoot at a gun and set it off so that it'll fire and shoot off and set off another gun down the line, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great video. Well, probably one of the best ones he's done. And he's done a lot of really good ones, so I still watch him all the time. He does like 2 videos a week or something like that. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You sound very enthusiastic.
I told you.
Your goal is just feed me guns and let me talk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Government of Tennessee. Okay, so Henry repeating rifle, 1865. So this would have been end of war. Very nice. Governor William G. Brownlow was the recipient of this Henry repeating rifle in 1865. This rifle is one of the series of presentation rifles given to distinguished political figures of the period and is ornately engraved with his name in the Tennessee state steel. It's got adjustable sights. Very nice. Those were a big deal back in the day. It's got the magazine catch there. Very nice. The Henry rifles are more iconic for actually, this would have still probably been early on enough that there wasn't a side-loading breech gate on the other side. So I'm kind of curious with that. This would be a great rifle to have in a center case, so you could actually see the engraving on both sides, because I'm quite sure that as ornate as this side is, the other side has got to be just as beautiful. And the engraving on this is just top-notch. I
wish I'd have gotten a better close-up picture.
Yeah, that one is a little fuzzy. And by a little, I mean a lot fuzzy. However,
it kept focusing on the glass itself.
However, I do have a zoom function, and like my zoom in is better than your close up. Let me do this. New. And paste. There we go.
Oh yeah, I can zoom in as well.
Yeah. Well, I just sent over a picture there so that you have a better. I mean, the viewers will have a better idea of what I'm looking at, because that engraving is just gorgeous. I saw Ducky was freaking out over a set of dice that were there. What kind of museum was this exactly that you guys were at? Because it seemed like it had a lot of just random stuff.
Yeah, it was the East Tennessee Historical Society and Museum. And it literally just had the history of East Tennessee. It started with the Indians, the Cherokees and stuff that lived in the area, all the way up until like 1920 or so. I don't know when. Well, it had some modern day. Well, it had some things that is in the modern day, but was older. I don't know what I don't remember exactly what the last year was.
Mm.
There was a they had a full sized um, vehicle. Um, it wasn't a Model A. Definitely wasn't a Model T. I don't remember what kind of car it was. I didn't. I didn't look. We were running behind at that point. We needed to leave, and so I was trying to rush her out. It
And
didn't
then
go very well.
and then I was late anyway.
Yes. Well, we were rushing because she wanted to be at the D&D session tonight, which got canceled
Oh, oh, tragedy.
because Mumble's internet wasn't working.
I was just going to ask if we had any
So we
D&D.
rushed for no reason.
Yeah. I was just going to ask if
What
we.
was you saying?
I was just going to ask if we had a D&D session between last time and this one, and then I realized that we did. But we don't have to talk about that one.
We did?
We did on Sunday.
Oh, right. Yours.
Yep,
I completely forgot about that.
that shows about how well it's going.
Well, to be fair, I made a necromancer. Was not my finest hour.
You made a necromancer in a campaign where everything is already undead.
Yes, well, I did not know
Mm-hmm.
that you cannot raise the undead if they're already undead when they die.
In fairness, I didn't know that either. You said it, and I'm like, oh crap, my whole campaign is shot. Oh well, here we go. And then it's like, oh no, your whole character is shot.
Yep.
Oh,
But this right here was at the entrance of the museum. Like as soon as you walked in, uh, it was pretty cool.
ooh, very nice. I wonder if this would be something like the Henry Ford Museum here in Michigan.
Oh
Um,
no, never been.
it's actually Henry Ford Museum is more of like the history of everything in America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they do a they have just about everything at some point or another. Um, from every possible era. Not a lot of firearms though, which is kind of disappointing for me personally. That's that's neither here nor there.
We also found a coffee shop on the way that was a converted garage, like an auto mechanic garage where they have like several bay doors to service several cars at once.
Uh huh.
They had gutted it and completely reconverted it into a coffee shop. It was pretty cool.
Was the coffee any
Uh,
good?
my mocha wasn't all that great, but Ducky got uh, what they said was their signature or what they thought represented their brand very well,
Uh huh.
and she liked it. Um, oh no, that didn't work. I'm gonna do it a different way.
I'm just gonna point
So
this out. I was looking for Schofields without trigger guards, and this came up, which is neither a Schofield nor does it not have a trigger guard, but it is most definitely an abomination.
that's like your ugly neighbor.
I don't. I don't even know how to classify that thing. It's a revolver, which doesn't seem like it has a hammer. It's got like a half-inch barrel.
Quarter inch.
It's bad. Like that's just why. Who thought that was a good idea? Why should it be worth like some tens of thousands of dollars? But hmm,
Talk about a pea shooter.
Marilyn Monroe. It's probably in 32 AC or 30, not 32 ACP. That's auto loading. 30. It's probably just 32 cal. But still, like, ugh.
Yeah, I think it was called like the Honeybee Coffee Cafe or something like that.
I mean, it looks nice. It's got a nice aesthetic on the inside. It almost feels like they're not properly leaning into their garage roots. There's a lot of room there for them to be like, yeah, we're just gonna, um, and they could do a lot more garage style things, but
Well, they weren't going for the garage style thing. That's just what the outside looks like.
but I mean, if you can, why wouldn't you? Right? Right? Right?
Mm. Oh, so Ducky works at a coffee shop, and the lady that owns it named it after her children.
Mm-hmm.
And each of her children chose a piece of the crest for the symbol, the logo of the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ducky likes to find out what the origins of other coffee shops are. And so she asked the girl there, and she was telling her, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she ended with, and it's a little ironic now that they're divorced. The owner and her husband are now divorced, and that's all I remember.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's funny.
Tragic,
I
but
don't
if
I don't remember why, but yeah.
they're like, yeah, so this was designed, this whole thing was built around the love that two people had for each other, and this was their, coming together gift to each other.
Oh, I remember now.
Yes.
So he used to call her Honeybee. That was
Oh,
his pet name for her. And so they made this coffee shop, and then they got a divorce. That's what it was. Mm.
I was right. It is a 32 Smith and Wesson 5-shot revolver with a 1-inch barrel. That is not a 1-inch barrel. That's
What are you talking about?
that abomination of a gun I posted. I found it.
Oh.
I found what it is. Um, someone's trying to get $90 for it. Oh, action works, but the trigger sticks. That sounds like a very safe weapon to use.
Oh, and then right next to where we parked, there was this sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's about.
He's rowing
Mm-hmm.
gently down the street.
And here is Ducky's. Um, didn't row fast enough. I see. Says. And here was Ducky's lunch, a breakfast burrito.
I
It
feel
was
like
delicious.
that's counterintuitive. You're going to have a breakfast burrito for lunch.
Mm-hmm. It was delicious. I ate some.
Are you guys at the point now where you're sharing food?
Of course.
Sickening. Disgusting.
Um. So, is there anything else you would like to talk about those guns?
Oh, I'm still playing with. I'm on the website where I found the abomination, and they have a bunch of really cool stuff on here. But you mean the guns that you sent?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, without a little bit more information, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, I dropped the ball on that one because the information was there. I just forgot. I didn't think about it. I was just like, "Ooh, gun! Ooh, gun! Ooh, gun!" Finally, we'll have something to talk about.
Holy crap!
'Cause
I
I didn't watch.
am on today. So I mean, the first one, Kentucky long rifle, that is obvious. The second one, I got that one. That's a Brown Bess. The one after that, I really called that one. I did mess up that last one though. that one isn't the one after Davy Crockett. That one is also a brown bess, but it's a slightly later model. You know, failures on my part.
Well, that makes sense because they were in chronological order.
Mm-hmm. Like that, the brown bess was the workhorse of the American Army, or the American Revolutionary Army, and then it was in service for a couple decades after that before they started experimenting with other stuff. In fact, a lot of brown besses got converted from flintlocks, which is they were in the Revolution, to cap and ball. But that other one you have there from the Civil War, the cap and ball revolver with the sword and the guy in this picture there, and from the CS stamp thing, yeah, that one is not a brown bess. That one is not a conversion, but it is definitely a cap and ball.
Cool.
You can tell because it's got. I'm not sure if I can say this word, but it's certainly nothing worse than we've said on other podcasts. You can tell because of the little nipple under the hammer.
Well, I've said nipple before
on the podcast.
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
That's talking about my nipple.
Oh, okay.
I also did this week.
This is very non-descriptive. You shape. I'm trying to figure out what this is. I have your picture.
Mm-hmm.
You trimmed your beard.
I did.
Huh. Okay. What precipitated that? Because you were going full on hillbilly mountain man.
Yep. Ducky said she liked it shorter.
You know those jokes that were being made about you being whipped?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I don't think they're jokes anymore. Now I think it's just an accurate observation.
But yeah, she had an allergic reaction or something to my beard oil.
Mm-hmm.
And so her mother made the joke, I can't believe you wouldn't shave your beard for Ducky so that she's not breaking out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
She said, "Time to find out who you love more, your beard or Ducky." And so I trimmed my beard.
It sounds like she's not the biggest fan of your beard in general.
Oh no, she didn't like it.
Okay.
Her mom didn't. Ducky was fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
She just prefers it shorter.
Does her mom know what you look like without the beard?
Yes, I showed her the picture.
Like that should be all the evidence necessary to be like, no, he needs the beard. It's fine. Oh man.
But yeah, so I trimmed it and I sent Ducky a picture and I said, just in case there was ever any question which one I loved more. It's like, it pains me, but I did it for you.
I mean, you could.
She was like, you didn't have to do that, but I love it.
I mean, you could try and find a different beard oil.
We're working on it.
Are you guys gonna do like the allergy test where like you get her arm and just like rub different oils on her? Okay, that one didn't break out as much as the other one.
Hey, it may come down to it. Well, Gabby, that's
why?
My tank is empty.
Why is Sass sending me all the duck memes?
I don't know.
Is he sending these to you?
Nope. He sent one to me, and it's a duck with human arms holding a rifle, and it says, "I said it's rabbit season."
He probably should have sent that to me because it's got a gun in it. Like, for point of reference, just because I feel like you should be as scarred as I am, he sent me this, and I'm not going to post this in the World's Worst Podcast channel because no. Here, take a look at like really, Sass? Really? Really? I know, it took me a second, and I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing.
So I guess we now have a new title for World's Worst Human, or Sasquatch, as it were.
No, that's still me.
Oh, okay. As long as we both agree.
Oh yeah, it's most definitely still me because I mean at least Sass keeps all of his weirdness pretty much on the down low. I still have pretty open intentions of world domination.
Speaking of world domination, I hate you.
Why?
Because I told you what I was getting Brokebutt for her birthday, and you went and 3D printed some for her.
In my defense, I had already printed them when you told me. And she was expecting them. And she told me not to tell you.
You're a horrible person.
I'm like, so in that regard, I'm trying to figure out like, hey, so she knows she's getting them from you, or from me, or both, and
she didn't know she was getting it from me.
Yes, she did. She 100% knew, and I can prove it. I can absolutely prove it. Let me find it here. I hope this was actually written down and I'm not just remembering voice calls. This is my problem. Sometimes I remember voice calls as texts and texts as voice calls. How that works, I don't know, but somehow or another. Okay. All right, so she sends me the picture of the thing on Etsy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Could you print this?" And I said, "Do you have a file for it?" And she goes, "I don't even know how that works." I'm like, "Let me look up." So I found the ones that I sent to her. And she says, "Yes, please send me those. I love the colors." And I'm like, "I don't have those colors." Because I don't. So I tell her I can do it. I tell her the colors that I have. And then I show her this, that, and the other. Then she video called me. Then we were talking about that I was going to need her to fill in as a guest spot on the podcast last week, and that didn't end up happening because yada yada. Who's a what's it's? Nope. Apparently that was a text. That was a phone call. I'm remembering as a text.
Good excuse.
But she actually, I have a better one. All right. 3:19 at some time. That's just details. Is there any details? No, there's no details. Okay. Ducky sends me. Brokebutt said not to say anything about the 3D printer thing. So Ducky was in on this. Family issue now. So yes, I'm in the clear because Ducky forwarded everything and said not to tell you about it. Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, we found it here. from Brokebutt on the 19th. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume Masters is getting me one of those stationary things for my birthday. So let's follow through with our deal, and then you can do whatever, if anything. He asked, and we can totally pull a fast one on him. So don't say anything, lol. Shh.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Well, already then. I guess she's not getting one for her birthday.
It's a good thing she doesn't listen to these. Because now I'm in trouble. At least I hope she doesn't listen to these. Oh, that was another thing. I listened to one of these. Or at least I listened to most of one. These are bad.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Like, half of them are in jokes that if you are not directly a part of our friend group and know everybody involved, none of it makes sense.
Nope.
And half of that, even being part of the friend group, still doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Oh.
I told you a long time ago that we call it the world's worst podcast for a reason. When people ask me what the podcast is about, I tell them, me and Gavi literally just have a conversation and record it. And if you want to go listen to what that conversation was about, that's what this podcast is.
Like, I've been telling people it's mostly the Muppets in D&D, but it's not even that. It's just bad.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Oh, man.
And even when we talk about the Muppets in D&D, it's inside information.
Yeah, it's insider jokes between just... Oh, man. I had so today was the farewell party. I still have 2 more weeks to work there, but today was the farewell party for me at my present job. And they're like, "Oh, we're going to miss you, yada, yada, yada. Oh, it's a shame we can't hear, we won't still be able to keep in touch." I'm like, we absolutely can still keep in touch if you guys really want to do that. And so, we talked about that. And then someone, I forget what I said that spawned it, but someone was like, "Oh, send me the link to your podcast." Oh, somebody asked me if I wanted to go work out with them tonight. And I'm like, "No, I'm going to go podcast instead." And he's like, "Okay, fair enough." And someone's like, "Oh, link me your podcast." I'm like, "Okay, I don't know why you would want to do that to yourself." "Oh, it can't be that bad." I'm like, "It's literally called the World's Worst Podcast." And they didn't believe me, so I sent it to them. I'm like, I should really listen to what I sent them. That was a bad idea. Like, so I'm dealing with my not caused by gummy bear issues, but definitely could have been mistaken for gummy bear issues. And I'm like, wow, I knew we were bad, but I didn't realize we were this bad. Now I understand why I have never been paid legitimately for voice acting, because this is bad. This is terrible.
Well, we're not voice acting.
Well, I know, but I mean, in general, like, I should at least be entertaining enough that you can listen to my podcast and go, "Okay, I can see how this guy should, get paid for his voice." Now I know it's crap, low tier, absolutely I would say unwatchable, but that's not the right, like, untune-inable, unlistenable. Sass, I don't know how you do this every week. I really don't. That is a level of masochism that my mind cannot fathom. And I'm the guy who laughs at the masochism tango because I think it's funny. By the way, I should post the masochism tango now that I've mentioned it, and I'm reminded that it's a thing. Yeah. It's just, wow. I do not understand how he gets through
and
this.
We've been doing this for almost a year now.
Almost a year. This is episode 40.
Yeah.
Which, because we took 1 or 2 weeks, I think we just took 1 week off.
It was just one.
This is 41 weeks of doing this. That's scary. And we're still going.
For some ungodly reason.
Ungodly is definitely the correct term. Oh my. Apparently somebody acted out the masochism tango. I should not watch that.
Nope. Nope. It's a big old nope for me, dog.
Although somebody did dub it over the Addams Family, which that seems appropriate. That actually seems like it's probably a very good idea, aside from the fact that it's the Masochism Tango. It fits that setting very well. Have you ever...
Nope.
Okay. Oh, it's available now in case you would like to. Tom Lehrer.
I do not.
Tom Lehrer is an amazing songwriter, vocalist. Well, maybe not so much of a vocalist, but very great songwriter. He's a decent piano player. He's one of the first iterations that we have of a real modern comedy songwriter. All of his stuff is fantastic.
Is Weird Al not modern enough for you?
I said one of the first instances. He started back in the 30s, 1930s, not 2030s, because we're not there yet. So he predates Weird Al by about 60 years. So yeah, that's fun.
Word.
That's funny though. So this is my farewell from the law firm that the law firm was not aware of, because if they had been, they would have not allowed us to do it because we'd have been not properly social distancing. Screw that. Anyway, I'm gonna get banned so fast. Anyway, so we went to the gun range and people were there who had ostensibly fired guns before, but you couldn't tell it. Oh, the one girl almost shot me 3 times. Which, I mean, I should have realized. I should have known. I really should have. But she's just like, and then it was a life harrowing experience, but I made it through it. Nobody was shot, which is great. Because I would have returned fire.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Apparently, the range officer was not. I mean, in fairness, the range officer was really unhappy with us. We had 9 people on 4 lanes, and we're there, to send me off. And I'm basically just running around between different lanes trying to make sure that people aren't looking down the barrel of a loaded gun. And I'm like, how is this supposed to be, fun and or relaxing when I'm just trying to make sure that everybody goes home tonight?
Why was that your responsibility?
Because of all the people there, I know the most what I'm doing.
I say again, how does that make that your responsibility?
Because I'm the one who knows most what I'm doing. My boss, she has guns. She has them. She knows to not. Okay, so I think was it last week that I was talking about the recoil therapy where she and I went to the range, and like her target was just like spattered all over the place.
I've never talked to you about that.
Okay, well, I went shooting with my boss, and I am. When I go shooting, I'm not like just specifically a target shooter, but I really, really enjoy the idea of being able to group my shots very, very closely together. I basically want to leave the range with a single ragged hole in the target. That is not everybody's mentality. Some people are just like, oh, gun, trigger, bang, 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 and then just it's awful. Let's see. Let me find a good picture to illustrate this. Images. Here we go. So this is not helpful because these are all actually fairly decent. So it's like a 3 by 4 foot sheet of paper, and that they were shooting at, and there was literally there were printed targets on it. Oh, perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. The target kind of looked like this, except there wasn't any keyholing. It was just rounds everywhere. Lots of shooting. Not a lot of aiming, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in fairness, that may not have been all her, because she did have, her sister-in-law there as well. And the sister-in-law was very, very new to guns. So that could have had accounted for most of it. She also has her son there. He's younger. He may not have the whole accuracy thing down quite as well. In fact, I can say that very confidently because he was also shooting on my lane when I went shooting with her. And he was also very much just a big, just get rounds down range kind of thing. I'm, on the other hand, am shooting 3-inch groups at 30 yards. That's pretty good. You may not sound like it, but that's actually very good with a handgun without unsupported from a standing position. That's not bad. Now, it's a very accurate handgun, and I really, really like it, but it's like, it's not normal. I mean, I guess it is kind of. I mean, if you take your time, you do things right, it is normal. Let me put it that way. Let me back that up. I'm not trying to make myself sound better than I am, although I'm doing a really good job of it. The point is, you can stand up there and you can just start shooting, and what happens. Like, and that's how you end up with targets like the one that I have there in the center. It's like that shouldn't happen. That really shouldn't happen because you'll notice that all those bullet holes are oblong, which means that the round is going through it at an angle rather than straight ahead. That something is very wrong with that person's rifle. They should fix that. That notwithstanding, that not being usually the case, grouping your shots together, you understand this. If you're aiming for one point, all of your shots should end up within some reasonable distance from that point, as opposed to if you're just shooting generally at the gigantic piece of paper in front of you, which apparently is not something that is obvious to some folks. So, I don't know where I was going with that. I really wasn't
Me
just.
either.
I wasn't really. I was trying to say something about. I forget what it was even. Oh well. I didn't die at the range. Did I tell you what happened with my dad? At the range?
No.
So back in January, he bought a new pistol. I took him to the range, and my dad, he was in the Air National Guard, so he had to qualify back in the day on M16s, M14s, on all kinds of. That was before they transitioned from the 1911 to the M9, but like just barely. So he qualified in the military on all weapons. I mean, I'm not saying that the military trials and qualifications are strenuous, but it's at least showing a base level of competency. Now, there's 4 rules of firearm safety, which are universal. They apply to all guns all the time, everywhere, and they are this. Number 1, always assume that every gun is loaded at all times. Number 2, take your finger off the trigger until your gun is pointed downrange and the decision to fire has been made. Number 3, never point a firearm at something that you do not intend to destroy. And number 4, always be aware of what your target is and what lies beyond it. In order to have an accident with a gun, you have to mess up pretty much all of those rules at the same time. So I am assuming that my dad, having qualified in the military, is at least cognizant of what these are and was not going to do something stupid with them. So I get into the range, I get his gun, he's all loaded up, he's ready to go. I put him in his lane, I go to my lane, I'm shooting, I feel a tap on my shoulder, I put my gun down, turn around, and see him pointing his brand new gun directly at my stomach. His finger's on the trigger, his safety is off. And I'm like, this is how I die. There's no coming back from this one. It's over. It's the end. My mostly blind father with, yeah, he's going to kill me right now. It's just going to happen. There's no way around this. And as I'm coming to this conclusion, I look down again and I realize that his slide is locked to the rear and that I can see into his chamber, and thankfully it is empty. And I look up at him and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, my gun stopped shooting and I was trying to figure out why." And I took the gun from him and I led him back to his lane. And I pointed in there and I said, "You see how there's no bullets? That's why." The range safety officer comes over and is like, "Hey, you got to keep that in your own lane." I'm like, "Thank you. If he moves that again, shoot him. At least give me a head start. He's trying to kill me." Going to the range with new people is always an adventure. It's one of those things where it's like, I like teaching people. I really, really do. And I like firearms. And I thought, oh, teaching people how to use firearms would be great. But I don't want to get guns pointed at me that much. It's not fun. It really isn't. I have come very, very firmly to the conclusion that I don't want to teach anything about guns, because people are just, they don't understand that the point where the bullet comes out from is dangerous. And I don't want it pointed at me. And some of them don't even realize that they don't want it pointed at them either. One of the girls today, she shot a couple and she's like, "Oh, it jammed." And she's like 50% of the way to turning the gun to look down the barrel with her finger still on the trigger. And I'm like, "No, you cannot do that. That's my gun. They'll take it away from me." I mean, my priorities were clearly in the proper place at that point. But wow. Again, on the one hand, it seems like it'd be really cool and I'd have a lot of fun teaching people. On the other hand, I just don't think I could have the patience to do that every day. I might make it a week before I just let them do it. Like, okay, just pull the trigger. I don't care. Do it. Nothing can surprise me anymore. I have a whole new appreciation for people who do tactical training, because I don't think I have the proper mentality for it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what you were hoping for, Masters?
Sure.
I want to make sure I'm not disappointing you any more than normal.
That's a constant thing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No more than normal.
Anything else happened for you this week? Oh, I do want to ask, what is your impression of the Sunday campaign so far? I mean, it's a one shot. Hopefully, we'll finish this week. I'm really hoping we finish this week. What was your impression of it so far?
That I wish I had thought more about it. I like it. I know the other guys really like it. But yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, from what I've heard from Friendly, to appease hardcore, like really hardcore D&D people at this point, all you really have to do is give them anything other than something they've tried before.
Mm-hmm.
Which is almost colossally unhelpful. Like, I would like more feedback than just, "Oh, it's something I haven't tried before. It's great."
Yes. they like the cohesiveness of the story, the fact that there is a storyline, kind of. Um, the fact that you have all these scenarios already stacked up with each room that we go into, um, and how the mystery behind everything. That's what they're saying.
Okay, because I'm not privy to any of that conversation.
Yeah, you were not there when they were talking about that kind of, and they didn't explicitly say that kind of stuff, but that's what they meant by what they said.
Well, I hope that continues on to the end because I'm not actually sure how I'm ending it, so that'll be fun. Oh man. Anything else here, Masters?
I got nothing.
All right.
I came with nothing. I'm ending with nothing.
All righty. Well, then I suppose we should probably stop here because not saying I had I mean, I definitely didn't have gummy bears, but that might be consideration again. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Sass, what's wrong with you, Sass? Like, really? I've now listened to what you're listening to. Like, even the ones that at the time I thought were really good. Like that, I didn't just send them to episode 1 because I assumed that was just terrible in perpetuity.
Did I lose you? Did you go away?
No, I'm still here. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? I was just ragging on Sass. Masters. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me now or not. Anyway. Sass, I've heard what you have been hearing. And it's not good. You must have something better to do with your day. I know you do. Give me hope for humanity. Don't make me think that it's all just a bunch of people who are pointing guns at themselves and me. That'd be great. Thank you, Sass. Of course, the fact that you got to the end of this monstrosity and are still listening to this and probably commenting on it right now is really not helping the situation. So yeah. Oh, Monster Hunter came out this week. That's also fun. Or at least it will be as soon as I get a chance to play it. Stupid internet. All right. With that, thank you all for listening, tuning in. If you liked what you heard, for whatever reason, very bad. Please leave a like down below, comment. We love to read those. Share this with not even your friends, just enemies, people you don't like, someone whose day you want to ruin. Send them these. That's the kind of podcast we have. And hopefully we can find someone else's day to ruin next time. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.